All right, so for this problem, it wants you to find the value of x. X is right here, but notice that there's also a y in the problem. So even though they don't ask for it, we actually have to solve for y first. The nice thing, though, is that triangle ABC and FDE are congruent. What that tells me is that the pieces of them are going to be the same. So my first step is I want to figure out what y is. Seeing as B and D both have this little single indicator, this little single angle indicator, I know that they must be the same size. So, without actually having to do any work, I already know that y is the same thing as 48. The congruent, or the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, or the same. These two parts are corresponding. I can tell by that little marker. And since the left one is 48, the right one must also be 48. So y is 48. Now that I know that, I can start focusing on this angle F that has the x in it. I'm going to rewrite this now. Instead of 2x minus y, because I know that y is 48, I'm going to write this as 2x minus 48. Okay. Now we can kind of use the same strategy. I took angle B and I set it equal to angle D because they are corresponding parts, and that's how I found y. Similarly, I'm going to take angle A and set it equal to angle F because they are corresponding parts, and because these triangles are congruent, those corresponding parts or matching parts are also congruent. So I don't know A yet, but I do know that angle A is equal to 2x minus 48. Before I can continue with this problem, I actually need to solve A. So the way that I'm going to solve A is by using my triangle sum theorem. In this triangle, I have two of my angles, and anytime you have two of your angles, you can find the third one by using the triangle sum theorem. And that is to say that my three angles, 48 plus 108 plus angle A, should add up to 180. Well, I'll combine my like terms. 156 plus A is equal to 180. And if I subtract 156 from both sides, I find out that A is equal to 24. So now I know angle A is 24. That helps me with this problem because now I know the left side of my equal sign. Before, I had an A and an X. If ever there are two variables or two letters, it is not possible to solve. But I did find out that angle A is 24. So I'm going to erase the A, I'm going to replace it with 24. Now we solve. Add 48 to both sides, and I get that 72 is equal to 2x. Now I divide both sides by 2. I'm going to scoot down here. 72 is equal to 2x, divide both sides by 2. And I find out that 36, which is 72 divided by 2, is equal to x. So it was only asking for x, but there was quite a bit of information that we had to find before we could figure out what was going on with number 1. So while you can just, you have the answer, that's good, but I would try this problem and make sure that you could do it as well, so that if and when it comes to a test and this type of problem is on there, you'll know how to do it. Okay, the next problem you said that you wanted to look at was question 3, part B. (3A) you already got. Question 3B says find the values of x and y. Well, in order to do that, you have to get the correct answer from part A. Once you do it, again, I'm not saying it is correct. I haven't even read what the prompt is, but it is important to take parts that are corresponding and set them equal to each other. For instance, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I don't know, but let's say that A was the right answer. M and S correspond with each other. Therefore, these two measurements should be equal to each other. So if I wanted to find Y, I would set angle M, which is 10Y, equal to angle S, which is 70. And then I would solve for Y to figure out what Y is. It's a matter of taking things that are equal to each other, or I'm sorry, that correspond to each other and setting them equal to each other. Okay. Furthermore, if these two are congruent, if this was 70, this angle would be 49. And using this information, I can use my triangle sum theorem to find x. 49 plus 70 plus angle t, which is 4x minus 9. If I add these three together, it should give me 180. So same deal, you combine your three like terms. We normally have two, but this one has three numbers, so we would combine all of these. 49 plus 70 is 119, minus 9 is 110. If I subtract 110 from both sides, I get that 4x is equal to 70. And then when I divide by 4, I would get that x equals 17.5. I can just plug in that into a calculator to get that answer. But again, I just showed the work if A is the right answer. If A is not the right answer, we can't do that. So it's important to figure out which one is correct and then start figuring out what from one triangle tells you about the second triangle. Remember, the corresponding parts are congruent. That is the biggest part of today's lesson. So I hope this helps. If you still have questions, feel free to let me know. But I will leave you with this for now and see where you get.